I'm being joined tonight by one of the governors of the oil-bearing or oil-producing state, Imo State, the governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma. He joins us from Abuja. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. So we're relying to get some insights from you tonight. You are an experienced lawmaker, a former senator, now a sitting governor of an oil-producing state. First and foremost, when you were in the National Assembly, you and your colleagues tried without success to make sure that the petroleum industry bill scaled through, but it never did. But now that that has happened, for you as a governor of an oil-producing state, how does this come to you, the eventual assent to the bill?
Well, thank you, Chair. And I must say that the enactment and the signing into law of the Petroleum Industry Bill by Mr. President is a very welcome development for which we must congratulate Mr. President for this robust achievement. You recall that the past assemblies, even before I came to the Senate during the 7th National Assembly, made efforts to amend the Petroleum Act, which was enacted in 1969, which also became analog, but it has not been possible. That the president has been able to break this jinx is a welcome development for which we must congratulate him. Secondly, all the hazards that follows the production of oil in any country, mostly environmental hazards, is as a result of the absence of regulatory environment. This law, when put in place now into use, will not only regulate the environment, the operating environment, but will also create room for value addition, both to the oil-bearing communities, to the oil-producing companies, to government royalties, and some other things. It's going to be a value chain. The benefits are going to be so enormous. So for the first time, we will now have a law that will rise to the occasion to address environmental issues, to regulate production in Nigeria, and also be able to put in place the advantages that comes with this natural endowment as a country. So for me, I'm very excited, and I'm very happy, and I want to commend the National Assembly and also commend Mr. President for a job well done.
When you were in the National Assembly, the portion for the oil-producing states, what was allocated was almost about 10% at the time, and for now, it's a 3% that was assented to by the president. And some of the people in the oil-producing states are not very much happy with this. What's your take on the 3%? Is it a good place to start, or you think that the oil-producing communities deserve more?
That all over the world, corporate organizations have a responsibility to embark on social corporate responsibilities. We don't even need a law for operating companies to know that they have to do some kind of social responsibility to communities where they are operating. We don't need a law for operating companies to understand that if the villagers or the host communities are not happy, that it will not allow for easy operation of their various activities. So, but I am saying, since the law is already in place, I think it will only serve as a guide. A company's ability to function or allocate whatever quantity of money for social development of the areas they operate depends on return on investment. If the business is doing well, of course the communities will benefit better. If their businesses are not doing well, of course they may not have anything to offer. You can make a law for 10%, for 20%, but when there is no business in those areas by those companies, they will not have that 10 or 20% to give. So my take on this is that We need a leveling environment for these companies to operate. We need their businesses to blossom so that they will be able to also extend not only the statutory 3 or 5% to these communities, to also embark on corporate social responsibilities, creating social infrastructure with a view to allowing for a win-win situation where the operating communities will be happy and benefit, and the companies will also be happy and also benefit from their businesses. So I think it is not about what kind of law that is being made, but the reasonability of men and women in these businesses to understand the need for live and let live and create a win-win situation for all parties that are involved.
If you look at the situation in the Niger Delta and the kind of money that have been appropriated or pushed into the region, and the kind of money that we'll be looking at also going into that region, first and foremost, as a governor from the community where oil is being extracted and explored, are you happy with the state of development?
It is not only allocating money that is important. It is ensuring the prudent deployment of these monies to target. For instance, Sheung, if you are going into Houston, Texas, as you are arriving the airport, getting into the airport of Houston, you will see oil locations here and there. If you look down very well, you see that the farming activities, planting of vegetables, edible vegetables around the area. Now, the topography of Houston, Texas is almost the same thing with that of Niger Delta Formation. If you want to land at Warri Airport, you look around, you see how bad the environment is. You now ask one question. Is it the same Shell and ExxonMobil operating in Houston, Texas, that is operating in Warri or in the Niger Delta region? It is our ability to avoid discrimination, our ability to follow regulatory environments, our ability to understand that the human beings over there are also human beings over here. So it is left for the oil companies, not the individuals, not the citizens, not the village people, not the community owners, but the operating oil companies. It is the same Shell, the same ExxonMobil, the same Texaco that are operating in the United States, that are operating in Nigeria. They own all the gas stations abroad. But how many gas stations do they own here? So we need a strong regulatory environment, a strong regulatory instrument, and then compliance by the operating oil companies. Since 1969, when the Petroleum Act was put in place, how many years ago? It is only today. It takes a man like President Muhammad Buhari to be able to amend the law. Most of the penal clauses in the old law are so negligible that the oil companies prefer to pay the fine rather than follow the law. So, but with the new law in place, trying to protect our environment, trying to regulate the activities of the operating oil companies, it is very clear to me now that they will be forced to follow the rules of the business and then create a very clean environment for our people to live.
I'm actually talking, I'm actually talking about these allegations of corruption of some of the money that are being, there are a lot of agencies. There is the 30% derivation, there is the NDDC, and people will say with all of this money, there are still terrible roads in the Niger Delta region. There are still communities without pipe-borne water or drinkable water. There are still communities who cannot go to their farms safely because of lack of infrastructure. And so that was the question I was asking in relation to the monies. And now more monies will come into the Niger Delta with this 3%. The fear is that how will these monies be utilized in such a way that it will better the lives of the average citizen of the Niger Delta region?
Yeah, these accusations, these allegations of corruption has always been there, and probably that led to one of the reasons why Mr. President commissioned a forensic audit of NDDC. I'm told that the forensic audit has been completed, and any moment from now they will be submitting their report to Mr. President. I think that book should be able to come up with a very bold and courageous recommendation on how best allocations meant for the oil-producing communities or region should be deployed and ensure that it is used for the purpose for which the allocations are being made. So I think we have to wait and see what will be the outcome of the forensic audit report. However, I still call on those that are charged with the responsibility of deploying these allocations for the development of the region to please use the money for the purpose they are being allocated for and then help develop the region. Well, those who are not able to do what they're supposed to do, I'm also aware that the law will cut up with them.
Let me, before I move into some other issues of politics, let me quickly ask you, as a governor, how will these PIC or the petroleum industry law, how will it benefit directly your people?
Well, one clear advantage here is that it seems it will standardize the operation of production of oil in the region as it is done in other climes. Two, it is going to serve as a very strong regulatory instrument for the activities of oil production in the region. Three, it is very clear that the feelings and grievances of the oil-producing communities have been addressed, if not completely addressed as they so desire. At least steps has been taken. As we make progress, the law are going to be subjected to further amendments. So even if it didn't get 10 or 5% today, by future amendments, we may be able to get to what they want to get. But what is important is that we have to save our environment from total collapse. We have to standardize the operation. We have to make it a market-driven program that the determining factors will be forces of the market. We have also to benefit as a people, for having an advantage of being endowed with oil resources by Almighty God in our region. So I think so many advantages that will come from it. And I'm very confident almost that the solution to our previous problems have started coming.
Before I go into the politics of APC and what perhaps one of the reasons you say you are in Abuja, the launch of the campaign council of your party for Anambra governorship election, let me quickly ask you about the security in your state. About 6 people were said to have been were reported dead owing to the IPOP sit-at-home order, the latest one. How are you handling these as a governor when non-state actors give this kind of orders?
Well, while I don't want to confirm that 6 people died, I know that yesterday, Monday, normal business activities were carried on in Imo State. People went about their businesses and workers went to work. And government also did what they're supposed to do. Their routine services were also provided. That is one. Two, the security situation in Imo is going down. If you take a critical look at the situation today and what it was a few months back, you will agree with me that a lot of work has been put into it, and the situation is under control for now, relatively under control. Secondly, recall that there was a prison break in Imo State where over 1,824 inmates were let loose. Most of them are now in various communities or various locations in Imo State. Still, some of them were repentant enough to come back, while some also went back to their normal businesses for which they were sent to the prisons. It is my hope, with what we are doing now, that we'll be able to get back these people who couldn't repent and send them back to where they broke out from. So it is not going to be overnight. 1,800 and something inmates under detention that left the correctional center is not an easy job, but we are doing it. We are up to it. We are doing it. The security agencies are to work are not resting. We do our best and try to get those people under control. For IPOB, we have also addressed sufficiently the problem of IPOB. And recall that during the period, some people under the guise of IPOB unleashed mayhem into Imo State. The bandits, the unknown gunmen, some of them killed so many security agencies, some of them politically motivated to create a situation that will make Imo State ungovernable, sponsored by opposition elements. There are so many factors which before this time we have discussed severally in some of your programs. But by the grace of God and with the hard work the security agencies are doing now, I think Imo State is now calm. People are going about their businesses without fear of any molestation. At the fringes, the operations of some kidnapping jobs, small thievery and all that, as a result of those inmates that were let loose from the correctional center facilities. We are also working hard to ensure that we will completely stamp out those criminal activities.
Quickly, before we go on our break, you have now been announced or named as the chairman of the Anambra Governorship, APC Anambra Governorship Campaign Council. So it means that, based on the conversation I had with you on our previous interviews, you said that you are hoping that out of the 5 states of the Southeast, APC has 2 now, and you are hoping that you will have more. You also said that a governor of the PDP is going to defect to APC. What are your plans? I mean, Anambra State is an APGA-controlled state. How do you hope to win that state over?
Well, nothing in life that is permanent apart from change. I've been given this mandate to go and serve the people. I'm not going to war. I'm only taking a message to our people, the Anambra people. It is our business to do our best to convince them to agree with the vision of APC, with our manifesto, and to understand that APC, of course you will agree with me, is the largest party today in Nigeria. Very united. There's no confusion in APC. And if you look around, I think it's the only party anybody can beat his chest now and agree that it's a party that is functional and mobile. So we'll take the message there. We'll convince the people of Anambra State. We'll go into a new contract with them, promising to lift the life of the people, bring development to their doorsteps, and ensure that what is on ground now is improved upon. And then, what is more, it will give Anambra people the opportunity to once more belong to a national ruling political party in Nigeria, which is APC, the only party to beat now. This government, too, despite all the temptations that came with the governance, that came with this political activities of this moment, coming from Boko Haram to banditry to the activities of gunmen, that with all these temptations and the hostilities, that APC was still a party, that a government that remained focused, addressed the basic needs of the people, managed the security situation to the extent that Nigeria is still united and still standing. So it is the party to join. So we are going there with a brand, an enviable brand that will be easy to sell. And by the grace of God, I think APC will win Anambra the gubernatorial elections come November 2021.
We'll be hoping to speak with the brand which you're talking about, and also every other political party that has thrown their hat in the ring. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodinma. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.